Hello guys, it's Prestivent, and in this video I'm going to talk about the different openers for the set release patch. Okay guys, to start off, I am going to explain the format that I use in case you haven't watched like any of like my previous like openers videos. Here in front of me I have the carries, like the carries, and I put them in sort of like rows to specify like like their sort of tiers in my opinion. So, like the top row would be like S tier, second to top would be like A, B, and then C. I tried to like not include like 3 costs, like the relevant 3 costs. The only 3 costs I have here for the carries is Katarina because it plays into like one of the openers. It's super niche, but it's like I thought it'd be worth mentioning just like to like show like sometimes that it's like it is worth holding, depending on like like what you have like started with. But generally like you don't really hold the like many of the damage 3 cost this set. To start off, we'll go over the 1 cost. For 1 cost, I have Jax and Zoe. I know Jax is labeled as a tank, but I think you can easily run like these sort of like the Rageblade BT on him, and he does really well stage 2. So I have here like Jax, like Rageblade BT. I have Shojin, Marlo, and Zoe. Oh, also another thing is for the 1 cost, if they aren't like rerollable really, I try to sort of like just put on like the generic like slammable, like potentially slammable items on stage 2. But if they are rerollable, like here for example, like Syndra, Cassin, and Kog'Maw, I try to put like 3 are like either like BIS or like really close to BIS items on them to give you like a general idea of like what they want. But then like the ones who like don't really have like 3 specific items, it's like they aren't really rerollable, and lots of times it's items that like you can slam 2-1 and probably will slam 2-1 if you have them. So Jax, Rageblade BT, Zoe, Shojin, Morello. In A tier, I have Ashe and Ziggs, like 1 AD, 1 AP. The third row, I have Jace, Namzi, and Warwick. This is like starting to get in the row where it's like, like you kind of don't really want to carry these guys. And then the bottom row, I have Seraphine, Soraka, and Twitch. I think Twitch has like some potential, but it's like really hard to. Twitch is like a really weird unit. I don't think he's that good. He has like some potential, and then mages are just like the mage opener is just not very good, especially like Seraphine, Soraka. Moving on to 2 costs. Right now the sort of meta is really dominated by reroll. Specifically these 3. These 3 are like the king of 2 costs. Syndra being the most broken one. I have for S tier, I have Syndra, Cassin, and Kog'Maw, Nyla, Katarina. Katarina here for one of the specific opener I'll talk about later. Tristana, and then third row, Akali, Cassiopeia, Ahri, and Zillion. Again, third row and under is like you kind of like don't really want to carry them if you can avoid it. And you generally want to stay within like the top 2 rows for like who you itemize if you can. And yeah, I think that about covers it for the carries. Okay, now moving on to the frontliners. As you can see here, I did put in a lot of 3 cost frontliners, and that's because I think if you do get dropped to 3 costs from your opening orbs, you generally want to hold them if they are a frontliner. Like I think the 3 cost frontliners are actually really good. But yeah, like they not only are they like actually like tanky, like their traits are really good, which is like another big thing. Okay, well, to start off for the 1 cost, I have Blitzcrank. I think Blitzcrank is the best like 1 cost tank that you can get out of like, I mean, there aren't really many options. For the top row, Poppy Elise for the second row, and Lilia for the third. Again, like I think you generally try to stay within like the top 2, but like Lilia is like not that bad, not as bad as like in the third row in the carries. And then here we have Nico, Mordekaiser, Swain, Wukong. Again, like 3 costs are all in the front, are all in S tier because they're a lot better than the 2 cost frontliners. They have amazing traits. For the 2 costs, we have Nunu and Rumble. And for the third row, we have Galio and Shyvana. I think Shyvana like is better than Galio, but it's like I think you'd prefer to like not carry Shyvana as your like primary frontliner. And now on to the first opener. This opener is very, very, very strong. I sort of have like a different format for like how I'm explaining the openers this time compared to last time. And in the top half, like the top half of the board is like sort of like the main board, and like the bottom half is like the sub innables, like depending like like what you have and like what you can play around. The main what's all like opener here is playing around Portal. 3 Portal is really strong on stage 2, and you can access 3 Portal through 2 different ways. Either getting dropped to Galio or Cassin for the 3rd portal. And then Jace and Zoe are 1 cost, so they're relatively easily accessible on just from like your natural shops. And I have Shojin on Zoe for like ideal like AP backliner. You can put items on Cassin while playing like the portal opener. You just slam like what you have. Actually, Rage would probably go on Zoe still. You just put like BT on Cassin, for example. And then what I'm doing here is like these sort of pieces or units are really, you can easily sub them into your opener. So like say you don't have Jace, you have Cassin and Galio, you can go Blitzcrank for just like the hit 2 Vanguard. Again, like the thing is, Portal is like tanky trait and it also does damage stage 3, so it's like you kind of just want more frontline than anything, because Portal can sometimes throw out bombs that do a lot of damage and just help you win the fight, and it can buff your entire team, like attack speed, something like that. So if you have Galio, you can try to hit like Vanguard either through Blitzcrank, potentially Rumble. I didn't have Rumble here. I don't know why I don't have it. Let me put it back in real quick. And so here, like Rumble, you can just hit like Vanguard through this. Like that's one potential opener. If you don't happen to have Galio and you hit Cassidon instead, so you have like Jace, Cassidon, Zoe, you just try to hit another way for frontline, because ideally Zoe and Cassidon are not really your frontliners. Like ideally, like, you know, you want to treat them as like more damage dealers. Jace is also like a damage dealer, but if you have Shapeshifter in and Jace too, he's more than fine to just toss in the front because he gets extra HP. And then there are like these Shapeshifters as well. Like they obviously, like the Gargoyles would like be a lot better on like the Swain or the Nico in this opener, like either one of these. In my opinion, it's like one of the strongest openers right now. I think stat-wise, it's also one of the strongest openers right now, if I'm not mistaken. Another opener that you can do is you don't hit like Bastion or Shapeshifter here, but like a Poppy 2 is still a Poppy 2. You can put your tank items on Poppy. Poppy's like a really strong unit. Stage 2, if you have a 2-star, because it does damage, plus it like gives like a relatively fat shield for herself too. And you can just like eventually just like slot in, like, you know, on your 4 and 5. You just hit Shapeshifter here, and then you can literally just hit anything. Like you can hit just like another 4th Portal. Portals does scale off star level, so it's like, you know, just putting an extra star level, it's not like that bad. You can put in anything. You can put in like another Scholar or something, just like help you if you're fine on frontline. And yeah, I think that about covers it for the Portal opener. Okay, the next opener that we have here is the Eldritch Opener. I have 5 Eldritch here right now, or like on the main board. But it's more so just like the main thing I'm trying to hit here is 3 Eldritch, and I just show that you can get 3 Eldritch through a bunch of different ways. You get a Cinder drop, you get a Nyla drop, or you get a Mordekaiser drop to pair with Elise and Ashe, which are relatively easy to find because they're 1 cost. The main focus here is around 3 Eldritch, so I will be taking out these 2 units for now. So you have Ashe and Syndra. The Eldritch is like a lot of damage as well as some frontline, but like you still want some frontline. You still want frontline if you can. Shapeshifter is one of like the more easier frontliners to hit of the patch, because there are 2 1-cost Shapeshifters. So you can hit like Jace, Elise really easily. This is a really strong opener. 3 Eldritch, 2 Shapeshifter. You can hit Shape through Swain or Nico as well. And Gargoyle is better on Swain or Nico. Like this would probably be like the ordering for gargoyling. Swain, then Nico, then Elise, then Jace for your opener. And say this is what you're at. You can your level 5 can easily just be an Incantor. Incantor like Ziggs, Cassiopeia. Just give some team some AP. You're level 5 and you just play from there, and you just lean towards like, you know, like whatever you have your item slam for. Sometimes you can even place into Syndra reroll. Another variation would be take out Elise, Mordekaiser, and Blitzcrank. You just hit Vanguard. 3 Eldritch, 2 Vanguard. The general idea of this is just 3 Eldritch plus some sort of like buffing trait / like frontline. Ideally, you don't want like this, because Elise is not like that strong of a frontline to where you can just like solo tank it, and then like the Eldritch just comes in and kind of just dies a lot of the time. Like you can get away with something like this if this is all you have, but ideally, like Shapeshifter would be better than like an Incantor or something as your +1 here. You can also do something like this, and then Vanguard. This is also an extremely strong opener where you just play a bunch of frontline plus Syndra, and if you have like any mana item or Rage Blade, you just get stacks on her, and you probably just commit the Syndra reroll. The next opener we have here focuses on 3 Honey, and 3 Honey is, if you've like played, I don't remember which set it was, but there's a trait similar to Honeymancy. It was like Laser Core. It's like kind of similar to it, as in like you have bees that just follow your units and help you deal damage based off like, you know, how much damage you do. But then Laser Core, which is like you have lasers that follow you and deal like a set amount of damage every like time you get hit or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, the main thing is 3 Honeymancy, and you can just slot in for your 4th slot. You can literally just slot in whatever you have. Like you have upgraded Blitzcrank. You know, like ideally you probably want like a Vanguard or something. If you have like a Poppy 2, like that's fine too. You can just go like, you know, 3 Honeymancy plus Bastion as your like level 4. So you just hit like either Bastion or Vanguard on either of your front line. You can also do this, Namzi to hit Hunter, although I prefer to like hit a frontline trait than to hit Hunter, since you do have like some damage from Honeymancy. And yeah, and then like, you know, like your level 5 could just be like Hunter here, or it could just be a Bastion here. You could just put in Vanguard next, so you have Bastion and Vanguard, with just Kog'Maw as your carry. You can also have Ziggs sometimes, your Ziggs instead of Blitzcrank. And here you can just put in Hunter. You'd prefer to have more frontline if you can, but like this is probably fine. I was just putting like a random Incantor. This is like not like ideal. It's probably like the worst like level 5 +1 that you could put in, but it's like, you know, it's just like whatever you have. You can just put in like another Blitzcrank sometimes, just going for Honeymancy. Like that's fine if that's all you have. The main goal here is to just play around Honeymancy, and you can play this into like Kog'Maw reroll, or depending on like what items you have. If you have like, if you were having to be carrying Ziggs with AP items, you can just go like tempo into AP, and that's about it. I think that covers it for the Honeymancy opener. Next on the list is targeted around 3 Frost. I personally don't play this opener that much, but like stage 2 stats say that this opener is really strong. And the main thing about this opener is that you really want Zilean if you are playing around 3 Frost opener. The way that 3 Frost works is it doesn't do anything. Oh, it gives you some AP and AD, but it doesn't really do anything if you don't kill the first unit. And that's where Zilean comes in. Zilean does a lot of single target damage, and it helps you gets you like that, you know, that first kill to turn into a soldier. But yeah, so Twitch is probably like the weakest piece here. Zilean is like the main thing. Like Warwick's also like a damage dealer, but you can go, say you have like something like this. You have Twitch. You didn't hit the Swain. Like this is more than fine. You have gargoyles on like your Blitzcrank because Warwick's more of a damage dealer. Good thing about this is that like there are two 1-cost Vanguards, and Blitzcrank is a really strong front line. So like that's really good. Yeah, you can also play Hui if you happen to have that instead of Twitch. But lots of times I don't really hold Hui. I don't think you can go like this though. I don't think this is nearly as good as having like this. I think Zilean's much better than Hui for like the early stage 2, or at least that's what like the stats say. Stats say it's like, or Zilean is not really the interchangeable piece. And yeah, if you do happen to hit the Swain, you can go like this, just a shapeshifter in instead with 3 Frost, and Warwick is like a backup damage dealer. And you just put in like whatever. If you do happen to find a Bard, that's pretty good. You know, 2 Preserver on shapeshifter HP early. Like this is a pretty strong level 5. You can also just go Vanguard. You have something like this. You have a lot of frontline, and then these 2 is your damage dealers, and then you just play into like, depending on like what items you have, AP, like Shojin, you can just play this into like Karma or something. Yeah, I think that about covers it for the Frost opener. Next opener we have up is the 3 Multistriker Opener. Personally, I don't think this opener is very strong if your frontline is just like 3 Multistriker. I think it's much better if you do have like, you know, like some sort of like lifesteal, like BT, like BT Rageblade, and like, you know, this opener obviously becomes really good. You can put it on Cassin, or you can put it on Jax, depending on like if you have 2-star Jax and you have something else, it's fine to just put it on the Jax instead of the Cassin. I like depending on like, it can vary from fight to fight, but sometimes Cassin's better than Jax, sometimes Jax better than Cassin in the fight. On stage 2, you can also like do this sometimes, like you have Ashe 2 and you don't really want to put the Rageblade on your frontliner because your frontline is kind of like, seems like a little bit weak. You can just put it on the Ashe and just use these guys as frontliner until you can get off the Ashe and play into like Cassin and reroll. Cassin and reroll is really strong right now. And yeah, like these are some pieces that you can hold along the, or like from orbs. If you do happen to have like Jax and Ashe, you can. I wouldn't recommend playing 3 Multistriker though with Akali. If you are playing 3 Multistriker Opener, I'd recommend with Cassin or Hecarim. I think Akali is really bad stage 2. She kind of just goes in there and dies. It's like, and then like I personally don't really like Akali much at all. But 5 multi is really strong on stage, like level 5 if you happen to get that. Another thing about this opener with Cassin is that you can just go 3 Multistriker or 3 Portal. And we talked about Portal being one of the strongest openers in the first page. You can definitely do this, where you just go something like this. You can position like this, for example, and you just treat Portal plus Multistriker as your, or Multistriker plus Cassin as your damage, and then Portal as like a pseudo damage as well as like frontline, because it gives shield to your Portal units. Yeah, if you like do happen to find a Vex, like I don't really keep Vex that often, but it's like if you have a Jax 2 plus Vex, like there's also like this level 4 opener, like, you know, Vex is just like a tank that gives Chrono, and you have like a Rageblade on Cassin. You don't know BT yet. This is like a fine opener as well, and you can just play this into like either like Tempo Multistrikers, Cassin reroll. Yeah, it just depends on your items, like what you lean to with this. Now onto the next opener. This is what I was talking about like with the Katarina during when I was showcasing all the units. I think Katarina is super niche. I probably wouldn't hold it without like, or like look at it without like, you know, like a Lilia pair or something on stage 1 with like a warrior potentially, like either like Nyla or Akali. But this opener is very strong for Faerie. For Faerie, stage 2 is really strong because if you read it, it gives 400 HP to every single Faerie unit. The 400 HP is extremely strong stage 2, but like obviously it falls off later. But like that's like, you know, that's just how HP is. Like if you do happen to find Katarina and Tristana early, for Faerie Opener is really strong. It's 400 HP on every single unit. The easy slot-ins are just like Poppy or Bastion. Bastion with infinite HP on stage 2 is strong. Or you can just go Warrior. You don't really need the Bastion because you already have lots of HP. You just like maybe like, you know, like buff your Katarina, give some healing, some more damage. You can put the crown on like Tristana or Katarina, depending on like which one is stronger at the time. Like if you have an item for one of them, you know, you obviously try to crown them. Yeah, you can also just put in the blaster. Just be carrying Tristana and use Faerie as the like just for HP. Yeah, I think this opener is super niche because you have to hit the Tristana and the Katarina, and lots of times you like, depending on like what your shop is, you don't have like the luxury to hold them. But this is one of like the strongest openers first, or one of the strongest boards you can play on stage 2. Now on to our last opener. It is for Witchcraft, and the thing is, this opener just consists of, I personally don't think for Witchcraft like as a trait is like the best, but it's like, you know, like a trait on stage 2 that consists of 3 really strong units early on. I think Cassiopeia is like a little on the weaker side for early on units, but Poppy is really good stage 2 unit, Nico's a really good stage 2 unit, and Zoe's a really good stage 2 unit. So you just get like a little added bonus effect for running all of them if you happen to hit all of them. And then depending on like, you know, like what you have, you can just play towards that. I'd probably recommend always putting the item on Nico. Actually, that's not true. You can put like your tank item on Poppy 2 if you have it, and you have like the Nico 1. Like that's fine. Poppy 2 is like a lot of HP, and then the Witchcraft Sword like heals the Poppy as well a little bit. Your level 5 could just be like either Shapeshifter in for Nico, Bastion in for Poppy. I have Seraphine here because I thought this was Lilia. Oopsies. Like another Bastion. And yeah, like you don't need to hit Scholar for Zoe. You don't need to hit Incantor. Like you can if that's all you have, but like ideally you want to hit like one of these 2 frontliner thingies and just like your like Zoe kind of pump. Yeah, but if you like don't have any backline items and you only have like a Poppy, then like I'm down to put in like, you know, like an Ari for Scholar or something, or like an Incantor for Cassiopeia. Give your team AP, just give yourself some more damage. And yeah, you just play this into, again, like whatever items you have. Like if you have Shojin Slam, you can like Karma. You have like Rage Blade, you know, like something like goes with the Rage Blade. And yeah, I think that about covers it for all the potential different openers of the patch. Yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, bye bye.